It's the day I've been looking forward to all week. Me and Joe are on the way to Bristol today to video our third client testimonial. Come jump in the car and join us on this journey.
10 toes down in my B22s. Young ST hit the T and he blew. Pat came in, disappeared like the moose. Yeah, I'm at the mud, yeah, I'm really the truth. 10 toes down in his Christians, yours. They know me by my real name in the store. Pins and fiends made a killing off a raw.
Hey, Kieran here, and welcome back to episode 19 of the Week in the Life series. I can't believe it's episode 19. Next week will be 20, obviously, which means that I've been doing this for 6 months. And I've just realised I'm wearing my glasses for the first time in any of these Week in the Life series. But there is a reason. Yes, the reason is I'm blind, but the actual reason is I have a contact lens stuck in my eye. So at 11 o'clock in 1 hour, I have an appointment at Specsavers because I, for some reason, can't get it out. So it is me. I do look a little bit different. Intelligent is the look I'm going for. I'm very excited for this week because there's something big happening. You might have noticed if you watch these that I haven't been doing the podcast. I've had 5 weeks off. And this week we are back. Tomorrow we have an episode, but there's been some news. So we have had a cancellation this morning, which is always difficult because we pay up front and we book the time, and it's very, very difficult to rearrange that time because it's not fair in the studio. So it's very, very hard. Somehow I have managed to find a replacement within an hour, and we've got someone booked in for tomorrow. So we were supposed to be interviewing Rachel Flanagan from Mrs. Bouquet. However, we are now interviewing Joe Tanarella, a Cardiff-based now entrepreneur who is the founder of Pod Engine. Very relevant because that business is all about AI and podcasts. So I'm sure he's going to teach me a thing or two, and it'd be great to hear about his journey. Outside of that, this morning has been so busy. I've sent 4 new invoices because we've had 4 new starters, 3 on the permanent side and 1 on the contract side. We've actually got 5 interviews today and 9 interviews across the week. And of course, we're going to be doing our interview check-ins every single day. This is to make sure that the candidates are, number 1, all set, number 2, feeling good, and number 3, just check they don't have any final questions before they go in to the interview. If you watched last week's episode, you might have seen at the very, very end, we had a final stage at 4 p.m. on Friday. Sadly, I got the WhatsApp this morning and that person has been unsuccessful. So one of the difficult parts about the job, I've got to speak to them today to let them know that it hasn't worked out. Very disappointing. They went down to site. This was the 3rd interview. It means I'm going back out to market again. This is the 2nd time I've gone back out to market for this one. The first time we had an offer and they couldn't increase by 5,000, so the person rejected. This was the final stage and they put all their eggs in this basket and this person hasn't delivered. So I'm going to make sure I do my very, very best to get that filled this month. It would really, really help with revenue and forecasting for the next couple of months. There is a second reason for as to why I am so excited for this week, and that's because on Thursday I have my 3rd video testimonial. Joe Drew, our creative director, will be coming with me to Bristol. I will be sitting down on camera with the CEO, who's also the founder, and then 2 of the leads within the teams to talk about their experience, how we helped them, what sort of problems we solved, and what sort of results did we deliver. We're going to be posting that on our YouTube channel as well. If you scroll down right now, if you want to pause this video, there's one already live, and that's with me and Daniel Safko from ShipShape. So why should you stick around to the end? Well, this is going to be another very transparent week in the life of a recruitment business owner. You will likely see our customer success team and how we deliver a quality candidate experience every single time. You may also see how I handle a number of calls, in particular, how we will let someone know that they've been unsuccessful at a final stage, how we help candidates prepare for interviews, and how we assess candidates when we are looking to see if they are suitable for a vacancy we have. The recruitment industry and recruitment consultants in particular often get a bad rep, but I will make a bet that if you watch this video till the end, you will very likely have a different perspective on how recruiters go throughout their week, and hopefully a different opinion on how hard recruiters work to help people out find new positions. It's Kieran O'Connor. Good, you okay? Chat for a few minutes. I heard back from this morning, and sadly, they're not going to be looking to make an offer on this occasion. He's given some feedback if you want to hear it to see if it's fair from the interview. He said the cultural fit he thought was really, really good. He really liked you, and actually they did as well. So like culturally and personality wise was really good. There was 2 parts on the like technical side of things which they didn't think that you delivered the best answers for, and that was the close cycle and performance reporting. So I wonder if you think that's fair. You know, thinking back to the answers and maybe that part of the interview, do you think that's fair? Yeah, well, hopefully it's good experience, you know, to go down there and speak to people and see what other companies are looking for. And like I said, personality-wise and culturally, I thought you were great. You know, he really thought you'd be a good asset to the team, but it was just that feedback. So hopefully you can take that moving forward as well. That's okay. I was going to say I really appreciate you going down there and the communication throughout the process. And I'm just really pleased that you've accepted an offer. You know, that's great news. Thank you. Bye-bye. She actually took that really well. She did think it might be a little bit out of her depth by some of the questions the interim CFO was answering. Turns out on Friday she had one other opportunity they've actually offered. She was holding out to see if she got this one. Considering she hasn't, the world works in funny ways. She's going to go back and accept that offer, which is the main thing that person has found something. Let me have a look at the hampers now. Which one have we got? Joy and M&S.
The M&S one.
Which one do you think is the best?
The Wow Box one.
Okay, let's get the Joy Well Box one. Take a look at this on screen now. This is the box, what do we call it? A Well Box. This is the Well Box that we're getting. And maybe something else, do you think?
Yeah.
A food voucher for the Ivy. It's actually one of our biggest clients, one of the people that give us the most work and that we probably have the best relationship. It's their birthday on the 6th of September. That person is going away at the end of this week. So it's the first today. On the 4th, we are going to get a birthday hamper delivered, and it's got all the stuff you can see on the screen. And we're also going to get a gift voucher for him and the team to go down to the Ivy. And hats off to Skylar over in customer success. This was actually her great idea. I think it's a wonderful thing to do. The little small details that really make a difference. Like one of our clients' birthday, for example, we're really trying to go that extra mile. Hello, yeah, it's Kieran O'Connor. How are you? You said you were going to be free between 12 and 1, so hoping you got a few minutes now. Cool. So how are you feeling for the interview later today? Good. Well, he suggested that a couple of times, it's actually from the CTO. So a couple of those will put you in a very good position to do that with him as well. What about the rest of the data room? Was all of the information helpful in terms of job description, the company information? Do you have any questions that I can help out with? Any sort of inside information? I will send you a LinkedIn message after. I'll just ask how it went. You can just let me know in a sentence or two, but then we'll actually chat tomorrow. I'll give you a call. We can arrange a time and we can share some feedback over the phone. And then part of my process is to share that with the CTO to let them know how it went from your side. All right, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll speak to you later today and tomorrow. It's Kieran. You've got a couple of minutes to chat with anyone for an hour straight about any sort of assessment. Is really good. So yeah, as you said, he's emailed me just to arrange a time to do the technical part of the interview, which is essentially just going to be like the main part of the process. He's asked for some options this week, but you could spare up to an hour, probably 45 minutes to an hour. So any time after 1 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. What did you think of the preparation room that I supplied you? Was that helpful? Yeah, as of last week. So I have been doing that via email, and they look great. But when I send the emails, they just look long, and there's all these hyperlinks. So this tool is pretty cheap for what it looks like, and I think just visually and the layout, it looks a bit more professional. So I'm just asking for feedback from people. So you think it looked pretty good? What's going on elsewhere? Have you got any other interviews which are like in the similar sort of stage as this? Okay, that's good news. Well, I know it's gone really well so far from their perspective. It sounds like it has from your side as well. So yeah, we'll keep momentum on this and keep the attention to detail, and hopefully we can see if we can get a good result towards the end of it. Have a good week, and I'll book that in for you now. See ya, bye. On those two calls there, I have asked for feedback on the new tool that I've implemented. If you watched last week's episode, you'll realize that we are very, very big on candidate prep and helping candidates to prepare for interviews in the best way possible and giving them all the right information. I've implemented a new tool called Rec Finder, and those two people that I've spoken to, one's had their interview, one is due to have their interview, have both given very, very good feedback. They said it looks visually pleasing, the colors are good, but it's also easy to understand. It's got different tabs here located throughout the page rather than just an email. So far, so good. I did shout out Rec Finder in the last one. If you might be looking at something a bit more professional to help candidates prepare, check it out. Alex Cavell, hello, how are you? Business is interesting. It's very volatile, up, down, left, right. But overall, in terms of like revenue, pretty good. But yeah, it's good, man. What about you? Well, a promotion's a promotion, eh? Must have done very well. Yeah, it's in the calendar for the 50th event, which is Wednesday 24th. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be there 5:30. He's going to be there. Good. Yeah, really in the flow of it now. We are on Let me just check, 9.87 subscribers. Certainly in terms of just brand awareness and visibility, I think it's doing its trick. See you soon. Thanks, Al. Bye. This is my last shout out of the day. I feel like I've done a shout out after every single call, but that was me speaking to Mr. Alex Cavell, who is one of the co-organizers at Product Tank. As you may or may not know, depending on how many of these you've watched, we proudly support Product Tank Cardiff. So that means that we have financially contributed. We actually contribute our time and energy to these events as well to support the local community and ecosystem to get better events and, more importantly, food at these events. The Big 50 is coming up. So this is the 50th event for Product Tank Cardiff on Wednesday the 24th. You can find some details right here. If you are based in South Wales and looking for an event, this is going to be a big one. The footfall is going to be huge. It's likely to be the biggest event of the year, and there's going to be this is confidential actually, there's going to be a huge guest speaker who's known internationally in the product space coming down from London, and you just heard it on that call first. So what are you waiting for? Get some tickets, buy them, message me even if you want, and I'll see you at the event on the 24th. I can't believe it. We're actually back in the game today. It feels like ages since I've done a podcast, and it feels like ages since I've done this drive to Newport. I never ever thought I'd say I kind of miss it. Kind of miss driving to Newport. I wouldn't say that publicly. Certainly not to anyone that I know. So keep that between me and you. It's been 6 weeks since the last one, so I'm a little bit rusty, potentially. Although we've been doing a lot of the Week in the Life content, so I'm feeling more comfortable in front of camera, and the flow seems to be better in my communication and what I want to say. So hopefully it's going to be really, really good. There's been a few changes, and this is like a public service announcement to anyone that might be invited on a podcast. So when someone books a podcast, they are usually going to pay for it themselves, like I do. They're also going to be investing their time, and they're going to be planning weeks and months in advance sometimes. For context, the podcast studio could cost anywhere between £100 to £250 per hour, and it's very, very tough to reschedule those. The reason I'm saying this, we've had 2 cancellations this month, and one of those was from someone who's cancelled twice, really, really poor. We're not going to be reorganising with them. Great person, nothing against them, but it's just not fair on us or the studio, because we can't ask the studio to rearrange it. And then today we've just had a second one from a business owner in South Wales who's decided to cancel for the second time as well. So they're actually both 2 times. It's very, very difficult for us to say anything. It's understandable that we're all busy, but I just want people to realise, if maybe this changes one person's opinion or perspective, that if you've been invited on a podcast and you're not paying for anything, and someone else is investing their time and they're going to build your brand awareness and your personal brand, do your best to make sure that you get to the podcast. And that is my only announcement, which is slightly negative today. Luckily, I have a friend who has come in and saved the day. So the person cancelled yesterday at 9 a.m. By 9:30, I had messaged someone, and Mr. Joe Tanarella, who is coming on today, the founder of PodEngine.ai, he's an entrepreneur who is a technical founder as well. He spent many, many years in the technology industry. And interestingly, he's worked across marketing, product, and software development, which is a very, very good mix. And that's ultimately led him to set up PodEngine.ai. And in this episode, which is going to be out in a few weeks, I guess, from this episode, we'll find out exactly what they do and how they help podcasts, and how they actually might be able to help us as well. Although it's raining today very, very heavily, I'm always in a good mood. So it's worth mentioning that we've got an announcement coming up in a few weeks. But what I can tell you for now is we've only got 3 episodes left of the Calculated Risk podcast. I don't know how many we've done exactly, but I'm pretty sure we just uploaded number 18. We've got 4 or 5 more. We're maybe around 25, and that's going to be the end of season 1. We've had some incredible guests, and I'm very, very grateful to all the support. So thank you if you've been watching these as well. And season 2 is going to be happening, but it's going to be completely different to season 1 for a few reasons. And those reasons I can't share right now, but by the end of September, which is 20 odd days away, we will likely have some updates to share with you about season 2, some of the guests, and where that is going to be taking place. And final thing that I'm going to say whilst driving over to Newport, because I spend a lot of this drive actually practicing my intros, and I'll tell you why. When I first started the podcast, episode 0 to 10, the intros were so difficult. I didn't practice, which is obviously the reason why, but I was making them far too complex. I was trying to include more. I didn't really have a framework for it. Rather than listen to a podcast or any sort of audio on the way, I actually just look straight forward and do the intro about 20 times. And I'm not even joking. When I get to the podcast studio, I will do it in 1 take, or sometimes 2 takes. as quickly as that. Whereas before they were taking 5, 10, 15 takes. So top tip, if you got a podcast, number one, get a framework. Number two, practice. Just keep saying it and it will come out exactly as you need. And the last thing that I was going to say is today, September the 2nd, we've officially hit 10,000 subscribers. You can check out this post here, which I go into detail about when we started and how long it's taken. And I couldn't be happier. We've grown pretty quickly, and I think that's just due to consistency. Perhaps the content is good for some people, I'm not too sure, but we've just been consistent every single week since I've started. And 10K subs is like the first big achievement. I mean, 1,000 felt pretty good, but 10,000 feels like, we're actually doing something and going somewhere. So on that post, you'll notice that I'm looking for more sponsors. We did have Repower Daily Electrolytes for the podcast, which we've decided to terminate, end, or move away from that partnership. But we had loads of people buy it. Loads of people sent me pictures of the flask and the electrolytes, and we couldn't be more happier. So if you're a service, if you have a product, if you're based anywhere in the world, you don't even have to be local to me, but we'd like it to be relevant to what we do and what I like, which is health, sales, recruitment. Hit me up, send me a direct message on LinkedIn. I reply to everything. Maybe even message me on YouTube, and we could look at a sponsorship. And I'm happy to share data. At the minute, we are averaging 52,000 people, so 104,000 eyes, might sound a little bit better, on this channel. Get in touch, and I will let you know how that looks.
I don't do the late night text, ask my ex. I'm just trying to double these checks. They're saying Burner's up next. I'm still with the guys, still trying to pebble these Zeds. If I robbed one of your guys, I'll say it was I. True, say I done it with chest. Bro saying stick to the stew, that's fire in the booth. And I ain't even breaking no sweat. Yo, look, I ain't even taking.
Take a seat, Joe. This is it then. This is your first one in person?
Somewhat. I did an in-person one before, and there were like a couple of clippings, but pretty much the first proper one. First one with about 50 cameras around me.
Yeah. Nice. What do you think of the setup? Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks bigger.
Very professional. Good. I appreciate it. Yeah. So how did the podcast go when you're doing them online?
Okay, I think. I mean, I've started with my laptop mic and a very unprofessional bad camera, and then I've graduated now to one of these sort of bad boys in front of my face.
You're going up in the world now. Yeah,
I've gone up in the world.
Recruitment is an interesting game, It's Wednesday today, and the time is about 9:30. I have started recording a little bit later today because, like I said in last week's episode, if you watched it, the morning is for pushing things out. I like to play mental tennis on my productivity and get things out which can work for me in the background. Let me just turn this podcast down. The podcast sounds so loud in here, by the way. Recruitment's an interesting game because some weeks, and I'm sure we can all agree on this, if you work in sales or recruitment, you don't have any deals that can drop. So in recruitment, the epitome of a good week is making a placement, making a deal, and ultimately getting revenue or commission, depending on if you own a business or work for someone. So if you don't have that in a week, sometimes it can feel no matter what you do, you haven't done enough. But those are silly thoughts. And I've come in this morning, I've had to reflect on what we've done in the last couple of days, and we've actually done quite a lot. So I've booked 8 interviews this week. I've sent out 6 CVs. I've booked 3 new business meetings. And I've booked 7 calls on Friday with RPA developers in Eastern Europe, which I'm going to go into more detail about now. I'm trying to work out why do I feel like that. And I think it's number one, because we don't have a deal that's going to drop this week. Things are moving a little bit slow with clients. I'm sure anyone watching this who's in a business setting could probably agree. And secondly, we haven't had a new vacancy. So those 2 things I am focusing on when actually we've done loads. So we are going to carry on doing what we're doing and control the controllables. I'm going to make the calls, send the emails, send the CVs, and book the interviews. And I have to trust in myself and in the process that things will take care of themselves. Today is my favorite day of the week for content, and that's because we do one thing every single Wednesday, BD call coaching. So at 4:00 later today, don't know why I've started with what we're doing at the end of the day first. We've got BD call coaching. I'll review maybe 2 of mine or 1 of mine and 1 of Skylar's, but we're certainly going to break down how we go about our calls to see if we can help anyone out watching this video. There's 2 other interesting bits of content which I'm going to show today outside of all my core tasks. So at 2 p.m, I'm meeting a founder of a tech startup. Their chairman, who's also someone that I know very well, and he's been on the podcast, messaged me yesterday and said, this is genuine, by the way, I really like what you're doing on socials. It catches my attention. Would you mind speaking to one of the founders at the company I am the chair for and helping him out with some direction on what to post and where to post? I've said yes, of course. He's a great guy. He's been on the podcast. Do I think that I'm relevant to help out on that subject? Probably not, just because it's my background. But if you actually look at my socials and what we're doing on YouTube and everything else, kind of looks like I know what I'm doing, but I don't. So that call's at 2:00. I'm actually going to record that. It'd be good for me to actually watch back the video to see what I'm saying and if I think that was a good call. But this person's at 0. So, if we are marking ourselves out of 10, I'm probably, a 4 or 5. There's people out there who are way, way better than me. There's also people who aren't quite so good. I've checked this guy's profile out and he's probably a 0 or a 1, as in he's not posting at all. And that's no disrespect. That's just how it looks. So if I'm a 5 and he's a 1, surely I can add quite a lot of value. So that call's going to be interesting. And at 3 o'clock, we have another meeting with a tech startup founder who's looking to raise at the minute. That has come through our ShipShape business partnership. I'm going to be speaking to him about potential investment opportunities and his people strategy. They are currently doing 300,000 annual recurring revenue, which is pretty good. And they're looking to raise 900,000. So if I can help out on the investment, great. If I can help out on the recruitment, even better. And my big focus for today is RPA developers in Eastern Europe. I mentioned this in last week's vlog. Initially, we had a contract that was from one of our biggest spending clients and one of our favorite clients in terms of business relationship that we've built. I'll tell you why. Since they've raised investment, they have niched down on who their ICP is and who their brand new sales team that we built are going to be chasing. For example, this is not it, by the way. Let's imagine that they've now niched down from 4 industries: sports, betting, gaming, and e-commerce, and they're just focusing on gaming. Before they raise investment, they, like most smaller companies, will look at anything that is going to be profitable to drive revenue. And they've got some very large enterprise clients, let's say in betting, for example. These clients of theirs actually would like to stay on, and that's a huge part of their revenue. They weren't too bothered if they did or did not, because they're really focusing on the clients that they want to bring in. But the enterprise client has said, hey, company, we would like to stay on, but we want more resource for the same money. So how can we do that? How can we possibly get more resource for the same money while keeping the profit margins? We had a chat with the founder and we suggested looking into Eastern Europe. The Eastern Europe market has a lot of talent. The communication is usually very, very good. And for whatever reason, just by the way the world works, the day rates over there are probably 20 to 30% less than what they hire in the UK. So we've worked out that we can hire 4 to 5 contractors for a year in Eastern Europe. We're looking at Romania, Lithuania, and Bulgaria. And we can keep the same price for their client and actually have the same profit margins. I imagine that might be interesting to some people, but that's the reality of the tech world at the minute. If you are looking to work fully remotely and have no interest in going into the office, you and we do run the risk of companies looking to outsource to different countries because it's fully remote. If someone doesn't want to come into the office in the UK, why wouldn't they look into somewhere like Eastern Europe where these people work incredibly hard, arguably, and don't shoot me down for this, sometimes harder than the people in the UK. And that's not a disrespect to anyone in the UK, that's just what I've found through this specific piece of work. And the day rates are a little bit less. So that's going to be our big focus. I spoke to 6 people last Friday. I've got 7 this Friday, and we need to make a short list of 7. So I'm going to have to speak to around 25 people, I think, then shortlist it down to the top 10, and then shortlist it down to the top 7. And the initial start date on this was going to be November, but we've moved it forward, and we're looking at a start date at the end of September. So that's going to take all my focus today. Hello, man. I'm very, very good today. Thank you. How are you? I was just looking at your profile. So how long's it been since you've been on your journey? It's about 1 year and 6 months, it says here, since you started the founder journey. I bet. Well done on raising the investment. That's not an easy thing to do anyway, especially in this market. So what's front of mind for you in the business at the minute? I guess sales is an easy thing to say, right? But what's front of mind for you? Yeah, sure. Well, the podcast is probably one of the best ways to get like not a return on investment, but like a increased brand awareness for just how difficult it is, because it's not too challenging to set up a podcast. Where are you doing it? So the podcast for us has been really, really straightforward. Probably a couple of months ago, I was doing 3 to 4 a month. At the minute, I'm just doing 2 a month right now. That's the easiest way to get started, I think, on video content and brand awareness. So number 1, you can learn. Number 2, you can use it as a business development tool. So I would strategically look at the people that you're inviting on the podcast. Make sure you're learning is the most important thing. Second, make sure you're having fun. It's got to be fun. Yeah, you've got to be doing this for your own benefit. You can learn loads. And number 3, the most important part, I guess, is the outputs. It would have to go on YouTube, for sure. I use Spotify, which doesn't get as many streams as YouTube. So YouTube for me is number one, and then you've got Spotify or Apple, and also LinkedIn, of course. So we will then chop down our clips and then we will post them on LinkedIn, maybe once a week. You never know who's watching in the background. You just never know. So I think that's one of the best things, actually, the leveraging other people's network for video content. The podcast for us is used for business development, genuinely my own knowledge as well. I like to learn, and then brand awareness. It's those three things. It's very easy to think it's got to be great. It's got to be really good. I need to get it just step number one is record your first podcast, post it, and record number two. That's it. Don't worry about views. Don't worry about your communication. Don't worry about the quality to an extent. Just post, get it up. Because what that does psychologically then is you've then confirmed to yourself, I can do this and this is the route I want to go down. I'm going to book number two. Honestly, man, the amount of people around me who have started something and they're worried about the quality, worried about the content. I just told myself from day one, just don't worry, just post, just post, just post. And I still don't worry about the quality. I kind of do a bit more now, so I've got the hang of things. But yeah, first 10 episodes, just didn't care. Just post, just get it up. They're good numbers. If you're just starting out, that's absolutely fine. You've got to learn your sort of cadence. I'll just give you some context from our world. So on a sales day, I will average between 80 and 150 dials a day. We use a dialer, so essentially you will get some data online from data providers. I can share which ones we use. Some of them can be expensive, some can be pretty good. You'll then load that into an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file. You'll put that into the dialer and you click start and it rings every single number in order. For me, I find the best time to do sales is by sales power hours, we call them in sales or recruitment, where for an hour you just do sales, because once you get into the flow, you've handled 5 objections, you're like, oh, I can just handle, you just give me some more objections, it's fine. If you do an odd call here and there, it's quite difficult. So you just sit here like this and you just speak, and the phone goes and you speak, and the phone goes and you speak, and you just get those reps in. If you were able to do one thing and only one thing to get more sales, what do you think would be the best thing to do? I actually enjoy sales because I'm relatively okay at it. I'll have good conversations and I win loads of business of it. It's not like I get excited, oh yeah, sales today. It's still tough, right? It's all mindset. So if you have these thoughts where you think, this person's not going to want to speak to me, because I'm sure you do, because I do sometimes, I do. You got to snap out of it. Yeah, you've got to think that what you're calling with is adding genuine value. Yeah, if you think, I'm not in the mood for sales today, you're not going to have some good sales calls. And I promise you, most of the work is done before you pick up the phone. If you turn up with a positive outlook and a bit of optimism, you think, do you know what? I'm here to help people today. And that's what I think every day. That's why I can do sales every day, because I know that what I do is helpful. Branding, as a great way to start, is the podcast. That's good. Secondly is consistent LinkedIn posts. So you post in daily, weekly, every other day. What are you doing at the minute? That's good. Yeah, 2-3 times a week's pretty good at the minute. And then the phone side of things, I would go all in. If I would say that there's one skill which is going to be needed pretty much forever, it's the ability to win business by the phone. All the AI, the automations that are coming in, emails can be automated, LinkedIn outreach can be automated, phone can't. So I think that's going to be a wonderful skill to just develop. You can then search, just take a look at a few of the tools that I send you, take a look at your data, make sure that's good, and then potentially, depending on your budget, have a look at a dialer. If you want some suggestions, just ask and I'll fire them across. No stress, man. If you need anything else, just email me. I'm happy to help always. See you, man. Bye-bye. Right, I've just finished my first call with a technical co-founder of a startup here in South Wales. A good young lad with a solid head on his shoulders, looking to do 2 things, like most of us are: increase brand awareness and drive revenue. He asked some very, very good questions. He's going to be starting a podcast, as you heard. And then we were talking about sales. I've suggested looking into some better data sources and a potential dialer. Depending on budgets, they're a startup. They've just raised some money. So it might not be the right thing to do. But you would have heard most of that conversation there. Everything I'm telling him is what we're doing and how we're getting results in these areas. So I wouldn't be telling someone to do something if we didn't think it was right. I'm about 7 minutes out from my next call with a founder who's doing roughly £300,000 annual recurring revenue for a pet business. I'm looking through the deck right now. One of the cool parts about this job and having a couple of VC connections is that we often get to speak to startups and review decks. We will tell them if there's anything that they might be missing based on what we've seen before when we introduce people to VC funds. And then part of the ShipShape partnership is we also get to see startups who are looking to raise money. So this might be the 10th or 11th deck I've seen in the last couple of months. And there's only a select few that actually get past my screening call, if you like, and warrant an introduction to the VC. Because quite obviously, I can't be introducing too many people to the VC because it's just not the right thing to do. They're inundated with their own leads and their own companies that they're speaking to. But let's see how this conversation goes. And if it's right, I'll make the introduction. I'm very good today. Thank you very much. How about you? I appreciate you coming back to my email. I think you noticed the video and the context of it. You know, we're an official partner to ShipShape, and we do a lot of work in the background with VCs and startups and whatnot. And your journey caught my eye. I noticed that you actually post revenue. Seems to be doing a good amount of revenue as well. Give us an idea what's going on. Sounds like a great journey so far. Where are you at now? And so you're looking to obviously using ShipShape to try and raise money. How much are you trying to raise, and what's it going to be? Where are you going to deploy that money? What's the feedback been like from other investors? I know you said you got 50K already. Great, well done. What's the general consensus from other people? Yeah, it's quite hard to raise money at the minute. We speak to so many founders, so many co-founders, C-suites, and it's just so difficult this year. Alongside ShipShape, we're partnered with like 2 investment funds, you could say. It's a blend of private equity and venture capital. The minimum criteria is usually like 20 to 30K months, which is where you're at, right? We've just recently invested in an agriculture business as well. And you know what? You're the first person I've spoken to in the consumer space. So I'm not actually sure if it's going to be something they would be super interested in, but the revenue is where they're looking at. I know, and this is common across all, right? One of the things they'll ask me is, what's the long-term vision for the business? Like, is there a clearly defined exit plan where they would be able to get their money back, do you think? Or are we still working this out? Do you think you'll hit the 30K monthly recurring revenue this year? Is that likely? The last 3 people introduced in like the last 2 months have all had a call. Yeah, I think it's worthwhile me asking the question because you're at that stage where they'd start looking at you. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, that's going to be good experience for you, I hope, that you can get in front of someone and pitch and see what people are asking. So we do a number of different things, actually. We've got a few different recruitment services. We've got people analytics, which is human-based analytics on like human performance and key behaviors. So that's like a whole different SaaS platform that we've got. Then I'm an author as well. I do very small ticket investments, like a few thousands, but mostly in companies that we actually work with. Yeah, we're partnered very fortunately with 2 VC funds. So part of the ShipShape thing is we will sometimes, depending on the complexity of the raise, we'll come in before that and help out on key hires strategy. We've had so many people who have come to us too late, and the funder said, how are you going to get your CTO or your director, and they don't know. So we've actually incorporated that. So we do some work pre-investment, but post-investment, we come in and we help out on whether that be fractional non-exec director appointments, whether that's permanent hires, or even outsourcing both in the UK and Europe. So it's a whole suite of services, but it's all people. It's all people related. It doesn't have to be transactional recruitment. It can actually be just analytics of current team and future performance as well. I'm curious, what's ShipShape been like for you? Have you managed to find any good leads on there? Yeah, I think the data is really, really good. He's constantly adding new features to it as well, and I think it's only going to get stronger. But it's good that you've had some success with it already, just to find out who's invested in certain spaces. That's good. Just keep in contact, man. I'm happy to help out in any way as well. I appreciate your time and well done on the business so far. See you, man. It's the day I've been looking forward to all week. Me and Joe are on the way to Bristol today to video our 3rd client testimonial. Come jump in the car and join us on this journey. I'm in the car with Mr. Joe Drew, our creative director, and we're on the way to Bristol to film our video testimonial. We're not going to introduce him because it's his 2nd time on this vlog. I think he's the only person to come on a 2nd time interview, so congrats. Joe is a videographer, video editor, and everything in between. So tell me and everyone watching, what trends are you seeing in the video space right now? Imagine there's someone on there who's not doing any video. What's hot right now?
Obviously, we're quite far now into this world of short form content, reels, TikToks, and people doing these visual hooks, grab attention from the off. I do find it a little bit gimmicky a lot of the time when I'm watching these things, and I do think that there's sort of phases with videography that we do go through. Now we're seeing a lot more raw, uncut, unedited content, obviously like your new Recruitment Education Place channel. Yeah, I just think it's like a nice new era of people offering more genuine content. I think that's the word I was looking for, genuine.
Well, that's good news because, shameless plug, the new Recruitment Education channel has exactly that. Long form, 20-minute, unedited videos. And I agree. I think it's more authentic and it's hard to...
It's hard to fake it.
It's hard to fake it. You know, you can easily edit over things, you can chop things, but if someone's had a 20-minute video unedited and is talking about a topic that they know, and there's no pauses, there's no stutters, you know, it just builds trust and credibility.
100%, yeah.
I think. Well, that's good news. Second thing, how would you describe an ideal client? What would they do to be a good client in your books, apart from pay the invoices?
Yeah. That's the main one. I think it's quite hard to sort of determine what's a bad client without over time appreciating what a good client is. You're great, and you always say to me like, oh, smashed it this week, and it's not like my fuel for life to be like complimented or have sort of support, but when you do get client support, it makes the process so much nicer moving forward. And there's certain people that is you speak about quite a lot in your vlogs, like transactional stuff. So it'll be like they'll get me in for a job, as soon as it's handed over it's like not even a thank you. I paid you for this, cool, off you go. Sometimes it'll be no brief at all, and it'll just be like no planning goes into it. They expect you to just turn up, work your magic. That would be my sort of nightmare client, to be fair.
So the two things there were build a relationship and come with a script or a direction for the video.
Yeah.
Two good points, two very good points. And for anyone that hasn't got your contact details, how can they get in touch with you? Yeah, let us know.
So my website is drivethroughfilm.com. My Instagram is drivethroughfilm. They're mainly how I get people in contact with me, and then we can make conversations over an email or over WhatsApp message. So yeah.
And that is Mr. Joe Drew. Make sure you get in contact with him. If you're local to South Wales, this is your video guy. Bish, bash, bosh.
When I make a meal, 95 when an option. In the field, they kinda run out of options. She always complain like she not see me often. But often I'll be OT tiring. Girl, don't worry, I'll be hard in the morning. Used to move like there's nothing to lose. Mix the off-white with the blues. Golden with like 10 of the gun. Calling, I need a talking trap.
I'm back in the office this afternoon after a splendid day on site doing some video testimonials. We went there to get a video from the CEO, which we did, and the video was actually way better than I expected. And then he suggested to get one of the software engineers in the video who we placed into the business. So not only did we get one video testimonial, we got two. I've then come back to the office and realized yesterday I didn't do BD Call Coaching. So I've got a special guest.
Hola.
Hola, she's Spanish. And we didn't come prepared like this today. This was natural, au natural. It was definitely not just for BD Call Coaching. So we've got two. Skylar is obviously working in customer success and doesn't do any business development calls. However, we're both working on communication, and she is doing her very, very best and doing well at getting better at the video calls. So we're both going to assess my two calls. They are around 3 minutes each, and we will cover as much as we possibly can. So without further ado, let's go.
Hello, it's Kieran O'Connor.
Hello.
I'm not sure if you remember, we were supposed to have a meeting back on the 7th of July.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Quite some time ago. A lot's happened since then, I imagine. I thought now might be a good time to give you a call. We introduced to one of our VC partners. I was hoping he had that call, and purpose of me giving you a call actually was to see if there might be that planned recruitment that we were speaking about a couple of months back. I think it might be some AI-focused positions.
I do remember, but at the moment we're not recruiting. We need to get some more clients, or some clients at least, to start recruiting, and then as soon as that happens, we'll need to onboard. We're just kind of putting that on hold at the moment until we get some clients.
Yeah, I'm super curious.
Yeah.
I pretty much do this all day, by the way, call people, and everyone says they're focused on sales rather than recruiting. And what's it like in your world, for sales?
It's such a long process, much longer than we had really anticipated. We thought that we would have, we've gone quite far along with the client, and we thought that we'll be closing out in September, but now they're telling us January. Because we focus, primarily on law firms. They're quite risk averse.
They're very slow.
The slowest market. So it's taking absolutely forever to get anything. We've got a few pipelines going on. We've got a few sales out there, but just the contracts haven't been signed yet. And until the contracts are signed, we can't quite commit yet to just onboarding new staff.
Appreciate your honesty. Yeah, and I suppose it takes a long time to get in, but once you get in, it's quite hard to actually get you out. Then you stay in for quite a while with the law firms.
Yeah, we hope so.
So it doesn't sound like it's going to be anything between now and December. Is it all right for me to give you a call early into the new year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because we will need some help with hiring. Please keep us on the books.
Well, let me re-forward our email just so you got it at the top. You can check out some of our new content if you get some time. And then, I'll give you a shout at the end of the year or early New Year.
Yeah, that would be great.
That was it. 3 minutes, 24 seconds, right? This is your first time doing video call coaching. What do you think?
I thought it was really good. Made her laugh at the start and throughout, to be fair. And she sounded like she just wanted to stay on the phone, which was good, even though there was no recruiting as well.
Yeah, good, thanks. I started with good things. I like my tone. It's very friendly, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't that what it was anyway? It's just calm, it's relaxed. It doesn't even sound like I'm trying to sell anything.
No, it didn't.
And I mean, I wasn't trying to sell anything either. It's more just a conversation. So that sounded good.
Yeah.
I got her to remember. I said a specific day and she actually remembered whether or not she did. Never story, but she said she did. Curiosity.
Yeah.
She said they're focusing on sales. So instantly I just said, okay, tell me what it's like in your world to make sales.
I'm thinking about the law firms being the hardest market.
Yeah. She said it's slow and I understood that it was slow as well. So we showed a bit of understanding as well. I didn't ask about previous recruitment because I know they haven't recruited before. We had a meeting with these a couple of months ago. We just know they haven't. And there's nothing coming up in the next 3 months. So there's nothing to sell. There's nothing to push here. The only thing we can ask for is agreement that I can give a call back. And she said, give me a call back. We will need help. But in terms of a call, 3 minute 24, 30 seconds in, we knew they weren't going to be recruiting. I think, I'd done pretty well to stay on the phone for 3 minutes. Yeah. But now we've got a call back to do later in the year. That's pretty good.
Hello, it's Kieran O'Connor. I'm not sure if you remember, you had a very good conversation with my colleague Bailey back on the 16th of July.
I cannot remember now.
Quite some time ago. For more context, he actually gave you a call like this and you set a meeting, but I don't actually know if that meeting went ahead. The context of the meeting was around some of the challenges you've had with software developer recruitment. So give you a call back towards the end of August, beginning of September, to see if there might be any changes with the business. So here I am, see if there might be the updates you'd have to share.
Okay, we're going to break this down into steps. So the opener, this is the last time I'm going to say this on the Week in the Life because I've said it for the last 3 weeks in a row. I've used the same opener. I use it every single time and it's great. So I will say to them, we or you spoke to someone. They've spoken to someone in the business on a specific date and I won't say what it was about. And it's always met with confusion. They'll often say, I can't remember. What was it about? And then essentially they're just giving you the time to go in and remind them. And then it's important to be as specific as possible. And if you listen to this one, I was super, super specific. And then she remembers the call and then we go in and speak for another 4 minutes. So when we call people back, I think it's very, very good to not say what the call is about. And that's not dishonesty. It's just clever psychology to tell someone that we spoke back on the 10th of April. If someone's got good memory, and this has happened before, I remember Kieran, how are you? Great, they remember me. If not, I've got a chance to go in and show that I was actually present on that last call.
I do remember the conversation then. Nothing's really changed, if I'm honest. We're still not in a position to recruit. Ideally, we don't see that changing anytime soon, as long as, nobody leaves.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty. It seems to be quite common at the minute. Not many people are hiring. Most people are staying still. Yeah, it's very, very common on these conversations. Yeah. I guess apart from someone leaving, what is there any other trigger points that would enable you to hire more developers? Do you have projects where you need to upscale and get more resource?
Obviously, if we were to win a piece of work that required quick turnaround or more resource, then we would. However, we usually outsource when that happens because it's a short-term project usually, whereas obviously day-to-day maintenance is where we keep it within our team.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. And when you say outsource, do you mean to a development agency or something outside of the UK? That seems to be quite popular at the minute as well.
Stop right there. Do you notice anything I've done? So I've actively listened right there. There's 2 points I actually want to cover there. So the first bit, she said, we wouldn't be looking to hire a developer unless someone leaves. Okay, great. So that's one way that I know that someone would hire because they're going to replace the person that's left. But I also know that's the pessimistic view. What about the optimistic view in winning new work, winning new clients? Then you have to upscale the business. So I've asked, okay, is there any other alternatives? So if you win a project, for example, oh yeah, we would do that actually, but we outsource. Okay, now we're on to the next part. Well, what does outsource mean? To them, what does that mean? Do they use Upwork? Do they use Fiverr? Do they use a European development agency? Do they have one developer based in Cornwall who's in a bedroom? You know, these are all these different options, and I need to clarify it. And that's active listening, one of the hardest things to consistently do. But when I hear something, I just have, I don't know if it's completely clear, and outsourcing is one of them. I've just got to ask, and then I can get their specific answer. And now we're in a conversation. You know, we're flowing. I'm not leading the conversation in a different way. It's going down the way that she wants to lead it. So
developers that we reach out to, and we use them on a regular basis. You know, like if and when we need them. So they're usually our kind of first protocol.
I'm curious as well. Final question for me. I've kept you long enough. What your industry? What's it like for winning new projects and like how long they're taking to close? I'm always asking this question in a minute.
It can vary. A lot of things. Some of the areas that, especially I work in, they can have a pretty quick turnaround. So we work mainly with the football clubs, and so they usually have pretty quick deadlines and turnarounds and things like that. So if they're happy with the piece of work, you know, they sign off and it's moves reasonably quick. And obviously there's a lot of money in the sporting industry. We have other projects as well that can take months to sign off. So yeah, I think that's why we have these developers on hand, just because we know that it can be quick, but it also could take months to sort.
Sounds like a good plan. And then by the sounds of it, there's probably no chance between now and the end of the calendar year for like planned full-time hiring into the business by the sounds of it.
No, it's pretty unlikely at the moment. Like I said, the only time or chance that would change is if we were to have anybody leave.
I think you've got our details on board, but I'll re-forward them.
So what do you think?
I like that you matched her tone. You were very slow, like her tone of voice was very slow, and yeah, you mirrored her really well, which is why I think she gave you so much information, and you asked good detailed questions.
Yeah, the first point's actually very, very true. Whenever I listen back to my calls, and I would say this if they weren't my calls, it's not that I'm just saying this because they're my calls. We sound quite similar, don't we? On all the calls, I'm always trying to match people and mirror them and speak fast. If they speak fast, or speak slow. If they speak slow and loud and quiet. And, you know, it sounds like a nice conversation. It didn't sound like anyone was selling, anyone was pushing. I really, really like that, actually. And that's something I try and do consistently. Yeah. You wouldn't even know I was a recruiter. No. You know, I'm asking, unless I was, apart from the questions, but there was no sales there at all. Yeah. And I think the only other thing I picked up on there was the genuine curiosity again, you know, asking about their industry. What's it like to close deals at the minute? You know, would you hire if you had more projects? Just asking some great questions where they have to think openly about the response. It's not yes or no questions. That person will be getting a call back. They actually said that we can call them back as well. And if someone's not recruiting and there's no chance of them recruiting in the near future, as long as we have a good conversation and get some good questions out and they agree that we can call back, I think that's the result. And that's the end of BD Call Coaching. 2 short ones this week. BD has been on the back foot because we've been a little bit busy with vacancies. Tomorrow I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's one there, 8 calls with developers in Eastern Europe. And I actually have one in about 1 minute. So we hope you enjoyed BD Call Coaching, and we'll see you tomorrow to wrap up the end of the week. This week has been very, very busy, both inside and outside the office. Today is no different. It's 5 p.m. already on a Friday, and I'm at home with still a couple more hours work to do. But I thought I'd wrap this up. Today has been so labor intensive, mostly with phone-based activity and speaking to developers with an automation skill set, UiPath focused, in Eastern Europe. And that's because we have been working on a project where one of our clients are outsourcing most of their work for one of their large enterprise clients, and we've managed to find 5 people out of 27 conversations in total. A couple of things we were assessing today is the language barrier. Most of the people over there can speak English, and it is their second or third language, so it's very, very impressive, full stop. But some of the English skills, especially for where they need to be for a startup, aren't quite there. So that's the first thing we're assessing. And then secondly is the company size. Have they worked in a company that is of similar size and work at a similar speed to a startup? An example, UiPath, which is one of the main automation frameworks, they actually have a headquarters over in Romania or somewhere in Eastern Europe, and they have thousands of employees. So if someone's coming from a company with thousands of employees, and a team size might be 20, 30 developers, and they come to a startup when it's just 3 of them, it's going to be a bit of a shock, both from the culture side of things, the accountability, and the exposure to all of the work. So, but we've made that shortlist. It's always good to get a shortlist out on Friday because you come into the week and the ball is in their court and you're waiting for feedback. And I'm looking forward to seeing if we can progress this through, because not only is it a great opportunity for some Eastern European developers to gain more experience, it's a great chance for me to show that I'm able to source internationally, outside of the UK as well, which we do all the time. But I really enjoy proving my worth outside of the UK as well. Although it is 5 p.m, I'm still waiting for some very late feedback from a client. We had a candidate who had their 4th stage interview today, passed all 3 with a CTO. This was speaking to the CEO. I'll be honest, I'm very, very hopeful, but it's a little bit late in the day now, and his interview was at 12 p.m, which is unusual for this company. But hopefully by Monday of next week's Week in the Life, we could be starting with an absolute banger. Now is that time to like, comment, and subscribe, and go check out one of our podcasts. We appreciate all your support.
Run through 5, 1. Know what I expected this week. I'm alive. 1. That's what I expected this week.